Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto became the Boogeyman of the Elemental Nation. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for their stories coming your way over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes guys, indeed have 3 channels, and Making 2 and Making 3, which I post what if fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Remember to stay tuned for their stories coming your way. So with us getting this new episode start, the intro. So the last spot we left off, the man that they had captured in the forest had ran. Yes, he had ran for his life. Well, he was more like dragged out after the envoys that were in there were slaughtered by an unknown entity. It was the demon that everyone was talking about, Hinata, and also Neji was dismantled, used their eyes to try and find and locate this thing. So with that, they made their way to the forest of death. Naruto had changed Neji for the better, and when Hinata had came to his bedside when he was still in the hospital, and been there with him, he realized how dreadful he was to her over the past. And he saw how sad she was, as she cried most nights, seeing that Naruto was gone. And he promised to make sure that she was always okay. He swore to himself. So with that, she made her way as she was attacked by Mizuki, who had escaped the prison of Konoha. He was able to knock her down as he was about to take her, as Kuma would pay a hefty price for her. That was until Mizuki was grabbed by the unnaturally tall man, and he was ripped in half. That caught Hinata off guard, even though Mizuki was a horrible man. The way he died was beyond gruesome. He was literally torn in half. She was shaken in fear as she saw the thing that everyone was afraid of. He was large, as he was dressed in a suit of armor that seemed impenetrable. She didn't know what to do, but he did not attack. Neji jumped in, but his attack was easily evaded, as the thing said to them that they both have grown, surprising them. So with that, they returned back to the village after it left, as they informed Tsunade of all of this. As Tsunade was rather shocked by this new piece of information. She never expected this. Shikamaru and Shino got a thought as they realized that whatever this thing was, he only killed men. He didn't kill Kunoichis. As for Orochimaru Tasani, he was caught by this thing as well. His newest body that he wanted to enter was ripped apart. A hole was blown cleanly through Kabuto, as Orochimaru tried to fight, but the thing was just unstoppable. He was dismembered seconds later. Itachi and Kisame had been fallen by the thing as they fought. They clashed with the beast, but this thing was just that powerful, seeing that its armor negated most of their attacks, as Kisame was ripped apart and Itachi was ended. The thing took the both of their rings and their heads. The Kunoichis from Konoha were sent out, as they all agreed to go on this mission. They know the fear, but they still went along, as Hinata and all of them were out there. That is when they came face to face with the thing. Anko had to say he was larger than she expected, as they started a fight. But even with all of them taking him on, he was just that much more powerful, as Hinata was knocked out. Kunai chased after the thing as they split apart, but they were all just chained to that clone. as the real thing had brought Hinata to its location and removed some of her clothing so it could distract their scent, considering that he saw Inuzaka on their side. When Hinata woke up, she was startled, as she started to look around where she was. As she saw the thing, he spoke to her and she knew it. As he removed his mask, the helmet, to show that it was none other than her Naruto. She was shocked by this. She expected it, but it shocked her same. As she looked at him, as she couldn't believe it. As he's changed. He told her that much, but she didn't care. As he had a way that he could go back to Konoha though. Tsunade or no one knew that Naruto was one under his mask, and he has been missing for the past 3 years, worrying Tsunade and Jiraiya because they couldn't find him at all. So they had came up with a plan. On the other hand, Hinata was not a really good liar, but she would do it in the sake of bringing her Naruto back. As she seemed to not really mind what he had done. The people that he had slaughtered, some of them, well most of them, had treated him horribly when he was younger. And they got away with their crimes, but now, well, they pay for it with their life. But if anyone was to know that Naruto was the one under the mask, well, he would be hunted by the other nations' ninjas that he slaughtered, and they would never let him go. So she steeled her resolve, as she would help him no matter what. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the play check for yourself. So to begin this new episode. 3 days, as the group had returned back to Konoha. I can't believe this happened, said Tsunade as she read the report that was given by Kurenai over and over, as she could see the marks of tears from losing Hinata. As Kurenai had written the report, she had cried. Hinata was like a daughter to her. Wow, she was not treated fairly because of her shyness, and she did not want to resort to using force in her little sister, Kurenai, had been the one to take care of her. As she had taken her to school, she was placed directly under her care as well. It wasn't a coincidence that she was placed on Team 8. After all, Kurenai was a Genjutsu master. There really wasn't much that she could teach Hinata regarding Genjutsu, considering that her family style mostly focused on Taijutsu. But Kurenai was depressed that Hinata was taken by someone who was known to skin people alive and take their skulls as trophies. And it has been 3 days, and no sign of Hinata, so it was most likely that she was dead, and that thought was beyond depressing. When the team had come back, Tsunade could tell that something was wrong, as she saw that Hinata was not there, and she was told everything. Hinata's scent had been trailed off, and the masked individual had used a piece of her clothing to trick them, so that made things even worse. He had removed her clothing. There is no telling what he had done with her, because when you thought about lack of clothing and Hinata unable to defend herself, well, the thought of, well, something that Kunoichi shouldn't go through at Hinata's age, or no age that is, happened to her. And the mood was rather depressing to hear that, as people were angry, as Tsunade did not know what to label Hinata, mixed in action or killed in action. Given this man's reputation, it is most likely, and seeing that it has been 3 days, with no signs or anything, hearing from Tsunade-sama, Tsunade-sama, come quick! As she rushed out of the room, making her way towards where Shizune was calling her. What? What is it, Shizune? It's Hinata. She's back. She's alive. Tsunade's eyes widened in disbelief, as she ran to see the Hyuga girl herself. Meanwhile, Naruto had provided clothes for her when she left, as he could send her back the way she was. Hinata was awfully happy for someone who was captured by a dangerous criminal. Hinata, as Kurenai hugged the girl with all of her strength, see that she was back unharmed, safe. Kurenai-sensei, it's alright. I'm fine, really, said Hinata, as Kurenai broke apart, as she never thought she would see her alive. Are you really? What did that monster do? Did he? A dreadful look came on Kurenai's face as she checked over the girl's body. Kurenai-sensei, I said I'm fine. The masked hunter only kidnapped me so that we could talk, and he wanted me to deliver a message to the Hokage. Alright, let's take you. Tsunade appeared in the room, as she looked at Hinata. She breathed a sigh of relief after checking her over. I'm glad that you're alive, Hinata, but we need to talk in my office in private. Yes, We have much to talk about, Hokage-sama, and about Naruto-kun coming home. The two women are confused by that. What does Naruto have to do with this? How is that related to what you went through with the Masked Hunter, Hinata? It is related to the deal that he wished to make with the Hokage. The Masked Hunter told me that he's offering himself up upon entering Konoha walls in exchange of Naruto-kun banishment being lifted. He also wants Naruto-kun to have full immunity on whatever crimes he's committed in the past, and full restitution to be paid out for the crimes that was committed against him for the Kyuubi, said Hinata. As Tsunade's eyes widened, confused, Kurenai was the same. Why would the Masked Hunter do this? The two haven't even met each other. Have they? Said Kurenai, as she felt like something was off about this. And she knew that the Hokage felt the same thing as well. No, but the Masked Hunter knew of Naruto-kun past here in Konoha and the injustice the Leaf has done to him. He respects Naruto-kun for putting up with us and wishes for him to return here and get what he deserved from the Leaf that was denied to him in the past. The two women looked towards her with a bit of suspicion as they wonder, was that really the case? So he's willing to surrender himself to the Leaf in terms of Naruto getting everything that belonged to him, said Tsunade. Yes, said Hinata. This sounds like some kind of trap, said Kurenai, as it seemed too easy. Maybe, but he was gracious enough to bring Hinata back. And also, Tsunade thought to herself, he wished for Naruto-kun banishment to be unlifted. As Tsunade started to panic as she remembered what Shikamaru said, and the doubt was in her mind, but she refused to believe it. How is he even going to know that we agreed to the deal? Asked Kurenai, as they had no means of contacting him. He knows. The Masked Hunter used a shadow clone to hear everything on the wall of Konoha. As she pointed through the window, the two women turned their gaze as they saw someone standing there before it poofed away. Well, that solved that problem, but you still need to tell me what happened while you were captive, Hinata. I understand, Hokage-sama, said Hinata, as they made their way to the office so that she could tell her everything. Time skip. Tsunade sighed as she rubbed her temples to remove the headache that she was now undertaking at the moment. From what the Masked Hunter was going on, Tsunade only had a few days to lift the banishment on Naruto, or else she would miss out on one of the most dangerous men in the elemental nation to be captured. Still, what was bothering Tsunade was that the man surrendered himself to the Leaf, and for someone he didn't really know. Granted, everything played out well for her because she had wanted to bring Naruto back, and this was a perfect opportunity. However, the problem that she was now dealing with, the deal was too one-sided. He was not getting anything. He was being turned in as a criminal while she was getting her favorite blonde back. This made no sense, and her instincts were kicking in telling her that something was dreadfully wrong, but her mind refused to believe what it was actually saying. The deal just felt rotten. Did the fire daimyo reach back to you, Tsunade-sama? Asked Shizune, as the man had a direct link to Konoha, so they could speak. Yes. He gave the approval for the banishment to be lifted, and is going to be in Konoha the day the Masked Hunter surrendered himself and signed himself over, so that he can make things legal. He was going to bring a large group of samurai with him for good measure, and not to mention she will have her envoys there, in the public square just in case. If this was all a trap, they would be able to take him down. That's good news, but the question is, how are we going to find Naruto and tell him to come home? That is, if he even want to, said Shizune, knowing that Naruto never had the best of life here, and considering that they couldn't find him for the past 3 years. They refused to believe that he was dead. The possibility of that happening was not possible. He was Naruto Uzumaki, the most thick-headed, knuckle-headed ninja ever. He would not die. Apparently, from what Hinata has said, the Masked Hunter knows where Naruto is, and he will contact him and they will set the date for when the both of them will enter Konoha. Together. Yes, together. The way Hinata made it sound, it seems like the both of them are old, drinking buddies. Just what has Naruto gotten himself into out there with this man? Well, that would be the sight to see, says Shizune. People were afraid of Naruto. After all, they knew what he contained, not to mention they had banished him from the village, and he was probably angry. So for him to be walking inside the Masked Hunter, well, that would be a dangerous conspiracy if the two of them were joining forces together. Yes, it will. The only one that is super happy about this without any stress was Hinata. While Tsunade was happy that she could get Naruto back, Her mind was still going through a lot of stressful thoughts about this deal. It was just not adding up. The others are a bit nervous. A lot happened 3 years ago, with people learning about the Kyuubi. And with this mass hunter suddenly killing shinobis all over. None of them really want the mass hunter in our village, but they do want Naruto back, and most of them want to apologize for thinking so little of him. Well, all except Sakura, that is, said Shizune. Sakura had blamed Naruto for Sasuke's situation, because Sasuke just hated her even more, given the situation that he was currently in. And she hated Naruto because he had the Kyuubi in his body. Well, she turned that hate because Sasuke hated her now, and she had no one because of the way that she treated Naruto. It's not like she was completely alone, but still, most people have cut ties with her, so she just used that fuel to hate Naruto even more. Maybe we can convince the mass hunter to kill that pink-haired bitch, since she's still Uchiha fangirl, said Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, said Shizune, as she scolded her like she was a child. Wait, did I say that out loud? Oops, I'm sorry, said Tsunade, as her mouth seemed to have slipped. She was pissed off at Sakura, like incredibly pissed off. From what Shikamaru told her what she said to Naruto, blaming him, it angered her. And she's been holding that grudge. She knew that she should not. After all, she was Hokage, she should be the reasonable one, but she hated the girl. Plain and simple. But, Tsunade-sama, how are you gonna convince Naruto to stay? I mean, he has been AWOL. Even though he has been banished from the village, no one has seen him in the past 3 years. What if he has found a new life? I mean, even if Hinata, well, convinced him to stay. Perhaps he would just convince her to go with him. And we both know how she feels about him, so that would not be out of the question. Tsunade sighed, as that was the truth. It seems that Naruto didn't want to be a part of them anymore, considering that he hasn't shown his face in the past 3 years, because she knew that he was out there alive now that Masked Ninja knew where he was. And she wondered if he hated her for not being able to do anything about his banishment. I don't know, Shizune. I don't know. But the council will not like it. They had been pissed off ever since Naruto had caused chaos in the village while he was banished. Tsunade had simply laughed in their face and told them to get the hell out of her office. Considering that Naruto was gone now, she didn't care what they had to say, as she was almost threatened to just start to pop heads around Konoha, but she had to rein in her temper. Kakashi hasn't been the same either, said Shizune, as she saw the way the man was moving. Suicidal. Looked like he was ready to kill himself just like his father did. Serves him right. He trained the Uchiha. Abandoned his other 2 students knowing that Naruto was in the Chunin exams as well. And Naruto was going to be facing off against Neji, the Hyuga prodigy, yet he didn't pay any attention to Naruto, giving him over to goddamn Ebisu. It was even sheer luck that Naruto found Jiraiya, and Jiraiya fixed a seal that Orochimaru placed on him in the Forest of Death, so that the Fox Chakra would stop messing with his. She also had a few words with Jiraiya. Well, when she said words, she means slamming her fist into him repeatedly, as she heard what he did, throwing Naruto into the ravine, as if that would just make the boy use the chakra control of the fox. Yes, it did brought to the Fox Chakra, but what if Naruto had died? Let's just say he spent a lot of time in the hospital. But surprisingly, she wasn't the only one. There was a pissed off Hinata Hyuga as well when she heard about it. Time skip a few days later, as Naruto grinned from behind his mask, as he looked over Konoha position, as he wondered how they would react to him being now. Would they piss themselves, shit themselves? Perhaps both, as he had the perfect idea what to do. Once the contract was signed, well, as Naruto chuckled to himself, Shadow Clone Jutsu, he said, as a perfect copy of Naruto appeared, as he transformed into how he looked under his mask, well, a bit toned down. He didn't have the animalistic features or the eyes. He just looked like an older form of himself when he was younger. Well, the old hag was right about something. He definitely looked good in black and red. As a clone of Naruto grinned. Well, let's see how this would exactly play out, said Kurama. As anything could happen now, but Naruto had the perfect plan, and once he succeeded, they couldn't do a damn thing to him, because they would give him his freedom. Time skip. Konoha Public Square. The Fire Daimyo, along with his elite of elite samurais and his guards, Jiraiya, Snazzy, and a horde of envoys were hidden in the shadows as they waited for the masked hunter to arrive with Naruto Uzumaki. If the demonic figure tried to even do something, the envoys would strike him down without hesitation. They were also under orders to not let a single hair on Naruto's head be touched. Failure to go through that order would cause Snazzy to release her wrath upon them. Do you think the masked hunter Naruto will show up? Hokage-sama, the fire daimyo said, as they waited for the scorned hero of the leaf. His name was Naruto, who was unjust, untreated, for most of his life. Naruto won't miss this. He would come back to the leaf just to have his name cleared, and all the charge drop. And if he decides to leave again, while flipping all these people off, well, I guess I can't do anything to stop him, she said. Well, I guess we don't have to assume. Here they are, said the daimyo, the envoys in the shadows all tense, as Jiraiya felt guilt in his heart. Minato, your kid has grown up quite a bit since the last time I saw him. So sorry, I wasn't here to protect him, said Jiraiya as he felt like a failure, as he watched the blonde that was looking like a copy of Minato enter the village. As Naruto arrived and looked towards the fire daimyo, he gave the man a bow of his head, before he smirked at Snazzy, after he asked how she was doing, calling her Bacha in the process. As he had to push his luck and call her old hag, it resulted in a variety of insults. At least that eased some of the tension as they started cursing at each other. She had to hold back her fist so she wouldn't punch him into next week. As she turned her attention towards the fire daimyo, glancing towards the masked hunter. Okay, this is how it will go. Naruto will sign the seal first, as the fire daimyo and myself had already signed both of the seals. So with that, it will make it 100% legal. After that, you, my masked friend, will sign it, and then you will be put into the custody of my envoy. The masked hunter nodded his head. Naruto said Snazzy. Alright, let's do this, Granny, said Naruto. Snazzy noticed something, but she shrugged it off, although she was gonna punch him into next week, because he kept on calling her old. Well, the kid hasn't changed at all, thought Jiraiya, as his eyes were on the masked hunter, as he wondered how someone just turned like that. People in the crowd gulped as they watched the event. The masked hunter glanced around as he saw, with his expert vision, as he saw the shinobis, his eyes flashing red, as he saw them hidden amongst the crowd, not to mention the envoys. Whoa, there was a lot of them. It's your turn, sir, said the fire daimyo, as the masked hunter approached, as he signed it as masked hunter. That was what everyone called him anyway. Okay, all parties have signed. Naruto, will you now step away from him? As she would grab him and keep him safe at her side, daring that masked hunter to touch him once, she held on to him. I'm afraid we can't do that, Hokage-sama. The shinobi's tense as the masked hunter said that. What's going on? Naruto, get away from him. Sorry, Granny, but you've been deceived. Poof, he was gone. What? Everyone was shocked at that, as Snazzy realized what happened in the span of a few seconds, when the masked hunter started to unclip and remove the tubes, as he then removed the helmet from his head. Everyone was completely taken aback, shocked by what they saw. Some of them even fainted in the crowd, as some of them realized the big terrible mistake that they made. They ostracized, they neglected, they abused someone that turned into a savage killer that is known for taking his, well, trophies to be human skulls. That people started to panic as some of them collapsed in fear as the daimyo guard stepped in front of the man. No, they were afraid, but it was already done. Hey, you look like you've all seen a ghost, said Naruto, as he held the helmet down toward his side, as everyone was still looking at him. So he roared, a roar that let them all cover their ears, as it just spread through Konoha. That finally snapped them out of their shock. Naruto, it can't be you, said Snazzy, as she looked at him. What, were you expecting the fourth Hokage, said Naruto, as he chuckled a bit, before he looked over the contract. This can't be true, said Snazzy. Of all things, Of all things, she didn't want this. What? You expected me to be something else, Granny, said Naruto. You should really thank Danzo for sending those root ninjas after me, after I was banished from the leaf. The bastard wanted to mold me into his little weapon, so that he can use me to overthrow you so that he can become Hokage. I fell off a cliff, thought I was gonna die, but I landed in a rather interesting place. A place where I unleashed a side of me that I never thought existed, that I never knew I had inside of me. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this reads, Naruto Uzumaki is hereby pardoned of all crimes against Konoha. From this point of signing this document, and seeing that all the names have been signed, and I am Naruto Uzumaki, then I guess that I'm a free man, said Naruto. But Naruto, look what you've become. What you did to the shinobis of the leaf, and the other shinobi villages. As she saw the look on his face, he didn't seem to care about that. Like I care what happened to the fools in the leaf, said Naruto. If you will look carefully, said Naruto, all of those shinobis I killed in the leaf was the ones that was responsible for the abuse that I suffered when I was a child. It seems I got a good memory intact, said Naruto as he poked his head. And I figured that it was about time that they paid for their sins against me. The old man had sent them away, but after they came back, they still had their anger against me. I vowed one day I would get my revenge. And how I did it would be up to me, and it would be on my terms. As for the others, I am sorry I had to kill San Ninja Bake, but I owe Hayate. And I knew that Gaara Sensei from Chunin exams was the one that was responsible for it. I have already sent a letter to Gaara explaining to myself. What about Leaf itself? Don't you want to regain the lost bonds that you had with the Urukis and the Jonin senseis? Asked Jiraiya. As Naruto turned towards him, Jiraiya froze a bit, as those red eyes analyzed him. What about it? This place hated me from the moment they learned of the fox in my body. As for lost bonds, most of them are too scared to even look at me the same way as before. As he looked in their direction, they flinched, like they were looking at some vengeful demon. Almost all of them, said Jiraiya, as he saw one Hinata Hyuga walk out of said crowd. As Naruto walked down and didn't waste any time as he pulled her into a deep, passionate kiss right in front of everyone. People were stunned further into silence, as their mind was not thinking on how to act on this. Of course, like all shocking moments, it came to an end when Danzo arrived in the scene with all of his root agents surrounding them. You are under arrest for deserting the leaf and killing Leaf Shinobi Demon Brat. As Danzo didn't give a damn what paper he signed with the Fire Daimyo and the Hokage. Ah, if it isn't my old enemy, Mr. One-Eyed Teen, and his merry band of root shitters, said Naruto. You know, I was wondering when I would get my payback on you for what you did. So tell me, how has life treated you? Poorly, I presume, since Orochimaru and Kabuto are dead right now, and you no longer have a secret outside partner to help you take over the mantle of the leaf after you slaughter the newly appointed Hokage and most of the shinobis to get the rest of them under your control. Danzo was shocked by that, as his contact with the man had been cut lately. Was this brat behind it? There was a slipping sound as Naruto's wrist blade extended from his arm. As Naruto watched the shinobis all step forward. You know, I did kill Kisame, the monster of Kyori, and Itachi Uchiha. So if you think these weak shinobis can handle me, you are sadly mistaken. You're bluffing, Danzo said, as Naruto reached into his coat, as he pulled out 2 rings. Well, if this is not a sign that I killed them, I don't know what is. After all, it would be rather hard to remove this from a living man's finger without him retaliating. You're an abomination. Kill him! Kill him now, said Danzo, as he didn't know how much the boy knew if he actually killed Orochimaru. He couldn't afford for his secrets to come out. Snap in the other's mind snapped into focus as he realized what was happening. As Danzo was sending his roots to kill Naruto, she couldn't allow that even though he was this person now. As shurikens emerged from Naruto's armor, as they were coated in wind as they sliced through countless root ninjas. Hinata thrust both palms forward as a blast of chakra blew away several root ninjas, as the daimyo was well surrounded and protected by samurais. As the rookies and their senseis all snapped as well, jumping into the fray. Most of them had felt so guilty for what happened to him, how they had behaved. They had seen someone who had grown up with nothing but the clothes on his back. Learning everything by himself except for a mile few that decided to help him. While they had senseis, parents, and shinobi libraries, because he could not enter them, he was still stronger than most of them, despite all of the setback that was put against him, and he always gave his life, always throwing himself into the pit to save many of them. He brought back Tsunade so Lee could be healed. He jumped in the way as they went on several missions. He saved their lives countless times. He faced off against Gar to protect his village even when everyone spat on him like he was nothing but a monster. And now Danzo was said to be siding with Orochimaru and now trying to kill him. All of them moving to attack. Danzo was angry and confused as he thought that they would be on his side. After all, this thing was a monster. His forces started to dwindle down as he tried to get away, but Tsunade Onvu's flashed in the path, stopping him. Well, nowhere to run. As he turned to see Naruto soaking the blood of his root shinobis. Wait. You need me, said Danzo. You think this will just blow over? You need me. I can help you achieve power beyond your wildest imagination. I can help you become Danzo couldn't get to finish that sentence. The weapons on Naruto's shoulders came out. Danzo was repeatedly blasted with a red energy that teared through his body, obliterating his heart and tearing his skull to pieces. Danzo had no time to unclip his arm, as Naruto felt it as he moved over and ripped off the bandages, as there were Sharingans on his arms, as Naruto had pried through the sealing mechanism that Danzo was trying to break apart. That is why he was trying to help Naruto with his last statement. He was using it to try and break free of his seals, which would take at least 5 minutes. But well, Naruto did not give him the time. As Naruto pulled out a strange canister of blue liquid, as he poured on the man's body, Danzo's body dissolved into nothingness. As Naruto then got to his feet, as the others still looked nervous as he looked at him, Naruto raised his hand. For Kami's sake, I'm not going to eat skin or mount your heads on my wall, said Naruto. I'm not Sasuke. As Hinata came up to him, as Naruto found his joke rather funny. Here you go, Naruto-kun, she said, as she handed him his mask. As Naruto placed a hand over his heart. What did I ever do to deserve you? As he pulled her into another kiss. Once again she got rather flustered because, well, they were in front of everyone. And well, she couldn't stop it. Not that she wanted to. She actually enjoyed it. Hey, when did the two of you get so romantic together? Ino said in shock, still surprised at the whole event going on. As Hinata told her what happened when she was taken, that she spent time with Naruto for the past 3 days. As Kiba asked if they slept together, as he was whacked over the head by Ino and Tenten. As Naruto turned his gaze towards him, Kiba decided to play the card that he had amnesia from getting hit twice in the head, as he would not say that again. You know, you're the very definition of the word troublesome, said Shikamaru. Well, I wouldn't be Uzumaki Naruto if I was not, said Naruto. Now would I? Actually, Naruto, your heritage was revealed soon after you were banished by the Fire Daimyo. So they were told that you were the son of the fort. So you're actually Namikaze now. Well, that doesn't matter. I'm still Naruto. And I'm not just gonna act like somebody else just because of a last name. If you don't like that, you can go in a hole and die somewhere, said Naruto. Fair enough. But would you at least consider coming back to the village? I know I hadn't been there for you for most of your life, but I can make up for that if you come back to the village, said Jiraiya. I suppose I can stay in Konoha for a while. It's only temporary though, said Naruto. As everyone was relieved here that he was staying but temporary, and during that time, he'll be spending his time with me, thought Hinata. Tsunade couldn't allow him to leave. But with everything right now, yes, he had his right to leave, but she didn't want him to leave. She had to find a way so that he could stay permanently. She glanced towards Hinata. Before she glanced towards Jiraiya, as she glanced toward the other Rokis. Time skip. Naruto was in the Namikaze estate, as everything was given to him, judging from his return, and his heritage now being fully revealed to everyone. There was a few murmuring in the council when he had came there about his inheritance, but Naruto's blades came out as that shut them up rather quickly. Hinata, didn't come with him this time, as this was an emotional time for him, to be in a home where he should have grown up in, as he needed time to get these feelings and thoughts out, as Naruto saw photos of his parents, as he walked through the hall, as many feelings rose up inside of him, as he looked at the portrait, as he wondered what was the right feelings for him to think about at the moment regarding his parents. The fox was there witnessing everything, so Naruto had got the memories from him, as he had saw his mother, as from the way his mother acted, she would have loved him no matter what, and protect him from those idiots in a leaf. However, his father was a different story entirely. Minato Namikaze, a nobleman that sacrificed everything for the Hidden Leaf village, even his own son. He hoped that the village would follow his last dying wish of seeing Naruto as a hero that he deserved to be, but they chose not to. Naruto was angry that his godparents chose to leave him as well and not be by his side even after the oath that they took, that they would look after him if anything were to happen to Minato or Kushina. Where were they during his time of suffering, gambling, peeping, getting drunk, shutting out the voice in their head to take care of him? As Naruto blamed his father, he believed that the man should have had some safety precautions, just in case of the both of them back out of their responsibility. But that was all in the past now, and nothing could be done, unless he had a time machine to go back in time, but he did not, as he made his way towards the clan library to see what his old man had left him there. Time skip. Several hours later, Konoha, Memorial Stone. Kakashi stared at the large stone where so many people close to him had died. The list was rather extensive. His teammate, his sensei wife, the third, Shinobi's comrades. So much have given up their life, so much have lost their life on the field. Tsunade had yelled at him back then why he had ignored Naruto for Chunin finals. His answer was not a good one. Sasuke was fighting a dangerous opponent and he deserved to be trained by the best. Yeah, that was a stupid thing to say to Tsunade, considering her emotions at the time. He had been in the hospital for 2 weeks after that. She had came to visit him, and she had told him that he betrayed her code that he lived by, as he had favored a student that turned out to be a traitor instead of the one that gave everything to protect Konoha. And he said those that betray their comrades are even worse than scum. So what exactly was he? Still here on Hunter K. As Kakashi did not move as he stood there. Naruto, he said, his voice sounding rather depressing. Lost on the road of life again, or maybe you're lost in the present because you live so much in the past, said Naruto. A little bit of both, I guess, said Kakashi as he finally turned to face Naruto. So how have you been since I left this shithole? Must have been pretty painful to realize that you bet on the wrong horse in training. That you bet on the wrong student to train. As Kakashi winks at his words. As Kakashi did not know, it was a well-kept secret. Yes, he was out of the loop. That Naruto was who he was. Naruto, if I know that you were Sensei's son, I would have... Kakashi was cut off, as he was a breath away from being decapitated, as Naruto's blade was at his throat. Me being the son of the fourth Hokage should not have influenced your training in any matter. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be a shinobi of the leaf, but you, along with everyone else, didn't want me to be one, and you all tried in your own personal way to sabotage my dream. Does it comfort you at night, Hatake, to know that you betray your sensei only son, who wanted to be Hokage just like his father? Instead you favor a traitor. As Kakashi looked away, as he could not look Naruto in the eye. I am the only family that the fort needed, you, or an accident. Nothing more, said Kakashi, as if he had always known, but pretended he didn't want to get back at the boy's mother for it. Shame, said Naruto. Shame that my father isn't here to hear you say that. Just like always, taking the coward's way out, suppressing your emotions and trying to take the way out that hurt the less. Tell me, do you even feel any guilt for what you did? Do you only find joy in hurting me because it stroked your ego? Because you were the supposed student of Minato Namikaze, you wanted to be me. Is that correct, said Naruto? You wanted to be the one that people recognize as the famed student of Minato Namikaze. Huh, you act just like Uchiha. Want something that you can't have. No wonder your father killed himself. He probably saw the same thing as I do, and he didn't want to live with a carbon copy of Uchiha. Funny, now that you have that eye, you're like half Uchiha. Kakashi face tightened. My father killed himself out of guilt for choosing his comrades over the mission, he said. And not once did you tell him it was okay. Like the other villagers with me, you went along with the crowd. Your father chose his friends, his comrades over a mission. But not once did you have the courage, the strength to tell him that it was okay. After all, it was his comrades, but yet, he chose to protect them instead of carrying on the mission. So he was deemed a failure in many people's eyes. And what exactly did you do? There will be a personal place for you when you die, Hatake, and I hope you enjoy suffering there alone. As he retracted his blade, as Naruto started to walk away until he felt a kunai at his throat. You're not one to talk about hell, Naruto. Your hands are stained in blood, perhaps even more than mine, if the rumors are to be believed, and I have no doubt that they're true. Well, I guess you're not really correct on that. Those rumors are not accurate. My kill count is far greater, said Naruto. And while my hands are stained in blood, they are stained in the blood of the guilty. Those who betray, those who commit terrible act. Someone like you, said Naruto. As Naruto poofed away, the real Naruto appears. He stabbed Kakashi through the back as he covered his mouth to muffle his screams. You won't get away with killing a Leaf Shinobi this time, kid, said the Kyuubi. As Naruto felt so much satisfaction as he ripped the sword out. I'm not gonna kill you, Hatake. You're not even worth my time. If I ripped out your skull, I would sooner crush it before I accept you as one of my trophies and dissolve your body into nothing but a speck, so not even a piece of you remain to dissolve. Instead, I'll leave you to suffer. Perhaps you'll find a way to make it out of here before you bleed out and live the rest of your life in a wheelchair. As Naruto started to walk away, he didn't care either way. Meanwhile, unknown location, it seems the mass hunter in is Kyuubi Jinchuriki, said Pain. That means Itachi and Kisame are dead because of him. Who are we gonna fill in their spots with? Said Konan. From what we have gathered, Orochimaru and his right-hand man Kabuto are dead as well. And because of this mass hunter, which is now revealed to be the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, missing names have been gone, virtually extinct over the past couple of years. Even if they're out there, they're hiding. The members realized that their target was not the weak pushover that they thought he was. After all, he was able to take out two of the strongest Akatsuki members. While they were not above the leader, they were still Kisame and Itachi. Their name was feared throughout nations. Do we really need them for the final part of our missions in sorcery? No, their rings, however, that's an entirely different matter. As he suspected that Naruto had their rings as trophy after killing them, including Orochimaru as well. How do we proceed, said Konan. We will hunt down the other demon vessels. Then we will turn our full might on the Kyuubi Jinchuriki once we're done. It seems that the vessel has gotten stronger than I thought. But it doesn't matter, Mother, I thought. When I become the one true god of this world, and become the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, no one will stand in my path. Time skip, 2 days later. It didn't really take long after cleaning up the house with the use of his shadow clones. Naruto had invited Hinata over as they spoke as he showed her around the place. She had waited so long for this. So it did not really take too long for the both of them to start to rip each other's clothes off and head to the bedroom. At the moment though, she was lying on his chest. Her face was all red, as the both of them were covered in a sheen of sweat. There was nothing but a look of satisfaction on the both of their faces. Naruto-kun, can I ask you a question? Anything, Haim, said Naruto. If you left the village, would you take me with you? She didn't care what she had to give up. If she had to leave the village and no longer be a Leaf Shinobi, she would. And she wanted to be with him. If that is what you wish, I was planning to pack things up and head to Wave Country when things calm down. How does that sound, said Naruto, as he knew that the people there would welcome him. And Hinata. After all, he was the hero of the wave. That would be nice. I heard a rumor that its Spring Country ruler misses you, and she wouldn't mind if you stay in our country to be the Kage of the Shinobi village there. There were so many people outside the Leaf that want Naruto in their lands, so he didn't have to stay here. Yes, that is very interesting, said Naruto. as he thought about the possibility of becoming a Kage. "You will make a great Kage of any village, Naruto," she said, as she smiled at him. "And even a better Kage with you by my side, said Naruto. As Hinata looked down, "You're insatiable, Naruto," she said. "You have only yourself to blame for that, said Naruto. I mean, look at you," as she blushed at that, as she gave him another kiss, as he started to turn into something else once again. The session started to heat up. But guys, be a subscribe right here. If you want to see next parts and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. Which I post what if on every single day. Yes, you're not mishearing that. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace!